It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the special edition of Science Bowl. The two teams you're about to meet have won once already, and they'll today decide who goes on to play Henry Ferguson in the semifinals. Let's meet the teams now. First, from Magnolia Elementary, please say hello to Kristen Beecham, Madison Matagliano, and Cortez Logan. And from Yorktown Elementary, please say hello to Victor Bauman, Ben Stilson, and Angela Young. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, our game board reflects question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, we will have a competitor for Henry Ferguson in the semifinals. Let's go over and make sure everything's working properly. And before I do that, just congratulations on having made it this far in the competition. That's a real tribute to your skills. You're really good players. Madison, would you try your buzzer, please? Thank you. Good luck to you, to Kristen, and to Cortez. And Ben, would you try yours? Thank you, Ben. Good luck to you, to Victor, and to Angela. Are we ready? Yes. Are we ready? Oh, yes. All right, let's do it then. Okay, we go alphabetically, M before Y, so Magnolia and Madison. Let's play the bowl.
Science Potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points to start our game. Teams, what same verb is used to describe a cow having a baby and a glacier producing an iceberg? Magnolia.
Calf.
Calf, that's right. You calve a glacier and calves. Okay, good. Go, Red.
Science Potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, I don't know that anybody describes Sweden as a dynamic place. It most likely is, but it is the home of dynamite. It was invented by this man whose name is associated with the most prestigious science prizes on Earth. Who is he? Magnolia.
Alfred Nobel.
You got that right. Alfred Nobel. The Nobel Prizes, the Peace Prize, and of course the Economics Prize and the Science Prizes. Red, go.
Science Potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, if doctors perform an autopsy or a necropsy, they're looking at dead tissue to see how someone died. But what other kind of opsy is when they take living tissue to diagnose a disease? All right. What is that kind of opsy, Magnolia?
Diagnopsy. Yeah.
Yes, please?
Diagnopsy?
No, you're thinking diagnosis. No, good try. Yorktown. Autopsy and necropsy are looking at dead tissue. What other kind of opsy is there that looks at living tissue to help diagnose disease? That's called a biopsy. A biopsy. Try again, please, Red.
You just said that. Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, last year there was a best-selling book about this edible rock that we use as a condiment today. Its name, yes, Magnolia? Yes, please. Answer? All right, please do not ring in unless you have an idea. Yorktown, what is this edible rock that is a condiment we use today? Its name actually is derived from celery because at one time it was so valuable.
Salt.
Salt, the history of salt. Absolutely right. Good, go. Yorktown, green.
Body systems for 15, please.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, a person with this condition knows that blood sugar levels can be reduced by taking Magnolia.
Diabetes.
Diabetes, yes. A little bit of vinegar can help mitigate that blood sugar level, and they know that trick. All right, 100 to 65, Magnolia in the lead with the advantage. Madison?
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, it is no wonder that all the cherry trees around the tidal basin in Washington all bloom at the same time, because they're all from the same rootstock. They're all identical. They are all known as these. Magnolia.
Yeah, cherry blossoms.
Well, they are cherry blossoms, but since they're all identical and they're from the same rootstock, they're known as what kinds of things? Yorktown.
Clones.
They are clones, yes indeed. Clones, they are all identical trees. That's why they all bloom at the same time. All right, a little hesitation over there, but you did know your stuff. All right, Yorktown, go.
Let's get physical for 20, please.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, if you look at a drop of water that beads up on a leaf, it stays that shape because of a force known as surface what? Surface what holds the integrity of that droplet? Magnolia, surface what?
Surface gravity.
Not surface gravity, good try. What force is it that holds that water together as a droplet on a leaf surface? That's known as surface what, Ben?
Tension.
Tension, you got it. You pulled that one out. All right, and that takes you up to 100 points and a tie score with Magnolia. Yorktown.
Zoo parade for 20, please.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, at the recent state dinner at the White House, the Obamas decorated all the tables with purple and green to honor the national bird of India, which is the flashiest of birds. What bird is it? Magnolia.
Peacock.
The peacock, that's right. The peacock, the national bird. No bird even comes close. Maybe some of the birds of paradise in New Guinea. Go red.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, elephants, hyenas, and ants are among the animal societies that are matriarchal. Meaning what? Meaning what? Magnolia?
They hold more than the weight.
Yes, ma'am.
They
Travel in packs.
travel in packs.
They don't travel in packs. Elephants, hyenas, and ants are among the animal societies, the animal populations that are matriarchal. What does that mean?
They work together, they cooperate.
They are run by women. They are run by women, matriarchal. All right, the buzzer has rung, and it's still almost a dead heat. Magnolia 120 with a slight lead. Yorktown right behind with 100. We'll be back with this competitive match in just a moment. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. What an important game. Today's winner goes on to the semifinals against Henry Ferguson, and what great talent we have here. If you missed them the first time, let's introduce you to these 6 great players at Magnolia Elementary School over there in Atlanta. Madison, Cortez, Kristen. Madison, tell us how you got ready for Science Bowl. Did you practice a lot?
Yes, we practice every day.
Every day. Well, it certainly shows. And I know Mr. Allen, your sponsor, he's out there and he makes sure you practice. He's just a great guy. Who's the principal over there at Magnolia?
Miss Phyllis Gillens.
That's right. And who are the alternates on your team?
Asiatu and Kevin.
Wonderful. They'll be out just a bit later with Mr. Allen. And you're all wearing yellow. That's the school uniform there at Magnolia. Yes. And tell me, Madison, why is it you wanted to be on this show?
I wanted to be on this show because at first I wasn't that good on science, but when I started doing this, I really learned science, and I'm really glad I can do this now.
And what a nice thing for you to say. That's our hope, is that people learn from this. It's not just a trivia bowl, so thank you for that endorsement. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a professional soccer player, a doctor, or a lawyer.
And you play soccer right now, don't you? So you're a real scholar athlete, and you do such a wonderful job here. Cortez, you do a wonderful job, too. Where does all your science knowledge come from? How do you know so much?
Well, I study a lot, and in science, I guess that's my subject.
That's your subject. That's your thing, huh? Yeah, and things that happen, it gets your attention. I can see you got a natural curiosity over there. And I know you're interested in space. Yes. Jupiter's one of your favorite planets. What's that big thing on Jupiter?
The red spot.
The red spot, that's right. And I hope you get to go to travel into space someday, and would be lucky to have you represent our country. Kristen, nice to have you here. Little Miss Greenbelt, a beauty contest winner. And it's not just her attractive looks, but also her personality. So you had to interview, and was there a talent competition that you had to do?
Well, at first there was a talent competition, but they took that out because the people who were running it, the director, Miss Natasha, Well, she felt that it wasn't good for the people to have to be forced to do something that they didn't want to.
And I know you're interested in horseback riding, and what do you want to do when you get older? If you're not a horse trainer, veterinarian, right? Yeah. Let me ask you, did you get a sash and a crown and all that? All right. Congratulations. What a great achievement. Yorktown, nice to have you guys back. The county champs back in 1997-98, 11 years ago, around the time you guys were born. I know you'd like to get back there and get another crown for Yorktown. Ben, tell us about your school. Who's your principal?
Mrs. Hughes.
Mrs. Hughes, that's right. She's out there rooting for you. And the sponsor of your team is Mom, isn't she, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Stinson. So nice to have you here. Ben, tell us what you hope to do someday.
I hope to be like an inventor, designer.
Yeah. What kind of thing would you like to invent? Is there something that's cooking in your head right now that you'd like to see happen someday?
Well, maybe maybe space technology, something to help like NASA or something.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of technology from space comes back to help us here, like Velcro, for instance, was a space thing. All right, keep up your good playing today. Were there any alternates on your team?
Alina and Nancy.
Again?
Alina and Nancy.
Oh, okay, we'll bring out the alternates a little bit later. Angela, tell us about yourself. You're musically inclined, aren't you? What instruments do you play?
I play the flute and I play the piano.
Wonderful. And I know she works at Chapel Forge School as she's a tutor over there and does a great job. And someday you see yourself as a?
Probably a medicine scientist or a doctor, maybe.
Wonderful. All right. You have a nice discipline about yourself. I can see you being very successful, Angela. And Victor wants to be a teacher someday, right, Victor?
Yep.
Yep. And science is your subject, just like it's Cortez's subject. How do you come by all your science knowledge?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I read science books and, well, I'm not really sure. I just know a lot of science facts.
And you certainly do, and certainly reading helps. You know, a lot of things seep in that you're unaware of, you know, and it's certainly not by osmosis. It takes effort, and you've made it, and we're proud of you, and it's good to have you here. Let's get back into our game. Magnolia 120, Yorktown 100. Lots of points to give away. Start us out, Madison.
Zoo Parade for 15, please.
Zoo Parade, 15 points. Teams in the book, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It was fictional, but Jules Verne's sea monster was real. It was what giant cephalopod? Yorktown.
Octopus?
Not an octopus, no. What giant cephalopod was in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Giant squid.
The giant squid is right. Yes, indeed. Good. Go, red.
Body system for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, there is a new book out with a one-word title. It is the name of the largest internal organ with a surface anatomy of 4 lobes. Name that organ. Magnolia, name that organ.
Brain?
Not brain. The largest internal organ has a surface anatomy of 4 lobes. A one-word title of a book as well. Name it, Yorktown. Liver. Liver is the largest internal organ. Go, red.
It's called liver.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25. The big one in that category. Teams, a lot of new homeowners are sneezing and itching because Chinese drywall is starting to smell like rotten. Madison says, just give me a chance to say what I want to say. Go ahead. Take your time. That's all right.
Sulfur.
Sulfur, absolutely right. Hydrogen sulfide is what the smell of rotten eggs is. All right, good answer there. I thought you were going to come to fisticuffs over there. All right, they're up to 160. Yorktown 100, still a good competitive game. Madison, you okay with your voice? Okay, go ahead. You continue, please.
Body systems for 25.
For 25 in body systems. Teams, there's a picture that goes with this question. If you look on your desk there, you're going to see a mummy. There's a mummy and a CAT scan. Can you believe it? And they determined that that mummy died of atherosclerosis, which is a fancy way of saying what? What is atherosclerosis, the cause of death of that mummy, Madison?
Heart disease.
More specifically.
Like a heart attack or stroke?
Heart attack?
Not a heart attack, no. Yorktown, that mummy, getting a CAT scan, revealed that that mummy most likely died of atherosclerosis. Translate that for me. What does that mean?
High blood pressure?
More information. You tell me more.
Can Angela say?
What do you want to say, Angela?
A stroke or a clot?
Not quite. Atherosclerosis means hardening of the arteries. Hardening of the arteries. Try again, red.
Green thing. things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, if you live in the northern hemisphere, like we do, having a rake in the fall is a good idea because foliage from what kinds of D initial trees are going to be falling everywhere, Yorktown?
Deciduous.
You got that right, deciduous trees. All right, you're back in the game. Go green.
Green things for 25, please.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, in the movie Jurassic Park, they got everything right but the vegetation because the trees weren't palm trees back then. They were these modern-day small plants. Magnolia.
Ferns?
Ferns, absolutely right. They were tree size back then. Frond-bearing and spore-bearing plants. Boy, you got that one. Go, red.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. The government of the Maldives Islands recently held a cabinet meeting underwater to dramatize the fact that their islands are being flooded by what is happening all around the world. What is that phenomenon called, Magnolia?
Global warming?
You got that right. Global warming is raising the sea levels, and low-lying islands like the Maldives are being inundated. All right, you're on a tear there. Come on, Yorktown, let's jump back in here. Go, Madison.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. Teams, President Obama's climate bill provides subsidies for people who invest in solar and wind power. But three-part answer, the three kinds of fossil fuels that we use today are being de-emphasized. Can you name all three? Magnolia, Yorktown, be ready if I come to you.
Cortez is going to answer.
Cortez, what are the three fossil fuels?
Coal, oil, and natural gas.
You got them all right. You pulled that one out of the hat. Coal, oil, and natural gas, the three fossil fuels we're trying to de-emphasize to green up our planet. Go, red.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Bob Ballard, who discovered the Titanic, is most proud of the fact that he discovered tube worms living on the bottom of the ocean where no light reaches and what plant process can't take place. Yorktown.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis, absolutely right. What is a Science Bowl game without photosynthesis, right? A day without sunshine. Okay, go green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Trick question. Trick question alert. Teams, if insecticides kill insects and pesticides kill pests, herbicides kill, Yorktown?
Plants.
Judges? We're going to give it to you. Plants or weeds. Absolutely right. Good. Go. We didn't trick you. Go. Green.
Let's get physical for 10, please.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, astronomers recently found stellar fossils, bits of stars, in a dwarf version of the Milky Way what? Magnolia.
Galaxy.
Galaxy. That's right. A dwarf galaxy out there mirroring the Milky Way. Who knew it existed? Go red.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, the poet Ogden Nash said of this word, with one L, it's a priest. With two L's, it's a beast. This is a beast of Magnolia.
Nature. Beast of nature. Beast of nature.
Yes, ma'am.
Nature?
No, no. Zoo parade for 10 points. I'll repeat the question for Yorktown. Poet Ogden Nash said of this word, one L, it's a priest. Two L's, it's a beast. What beast of burden that goes through the Andes has two L's in its name? Yorktown?
The abominable snowman.
Yes, sir.
Abominable snowman?
No, no. Two L's. A llama. A llama. One L is a priest. Two L's is a beast. All right. Try again, red.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. There's a picture that goes with this question. If you would look on your pictures, please, you're going to see a bat hovering over a flower that's growing on a cactus. I'll give you 10 points if you can tell me what that bat is after. What's it after, Magnolia?
Nectar.
Nectar.
Nectar, that's right. It wants that sweet juice down there, and in the process will help pollinate the cactus. All right, Madison, go again.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, because of a defect in his vertebral column, tennis star Andre Agassi's feet point together. What kind of animal is invoked when he talks about his toes? When your feet point together, Madison?
A gorilla?
Not a gorilla, no. Yorktown, when your toes point inward toward each other, what animal is often invoked to describe that? Pigeon-toed. Pigeon-toed. Try again, red.
Dateline Science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, it was back in 1938 when Orson Welles scared the pants off people when he said that people from this planet had invaded New Jersey in the War of the Worlds. Madison.
Mars.
Mars. The Martians had landed in the swamps of New Jersey. Red.
Green Things for 5.
Green Things for 5 points. Teams, the musty smell of old books is sometimes described as grassy or woody, which makes sense because paper comes from what? Yorktown?
Trees.
Trees, right. Good, go.
Zoo Parade for 5, please.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. It was 70 years ago when the Montgomery Ward department store came up with Rudolph the Red-Nosed what? Magnolia.
Reindeer.
Reindeer, yeah, good, go.
Body Systems for 5.
Body Assistance for 5 points. Teams, if something goes by so fast you can't even see it, they say it goes by in the blink of an eye. Magnolia.
Blink.
Blink of an eye, that's right, just like this game. A blink of an eye. Go, Red.
Let's Get Physical for 5.
5 points for Let's Get Physical. Teams, it was back in November that the Leonid versions of these showers could be seen at night. Yorktown.
Meteor?
Meteor shower, that's right. Okay, the buzzer has rung. We were down to the last 2 questions, and it looks like Magnolia is going to the semifinals. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back. We hope you enjoyed today's game. You know, if you want to see the best students in Prince George's County, you look no farther than right here. These young people just did splendidly today, and we are so proud of them. Our final tally today is Yorktown 155, Magnolia 270. You're headed to the semifinals. Kristen and Madison and Cortez, congratulations. Asiato and Kevin and Mr. Allen, I know back there in matching yellow, we're going to see you at the semifinals as well. Yorktown, I loved having you guys here. You're great players, and you had a smile on your face till the very end. You never gave up. Victor and Ben and Angela, we love you back there. Say hello also to Alina and Nancy. We love you guys too. Mrs. Stilson, thank you for being the sponsor and a good mom as well. Thank you also for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.